Freshmen and Ashley and Tarczewski in the front court, and a backcourt made up of Nick Johnson, sophomore from Gilbert, Arizona, and Mark Lyons, a transfer from Xavier. For Florida, Patrick Young dominated last year. Eric Murphy, an excellent shooter. Will you get Rutgers transfer Mike Rosario, and the active leading scorer in the SEC in Kenny Boynton. Fourth game this year between top 10 teams in college basketball, and the first not involving Duke. And Florida ranked 5th, trying to make a case for perhaps being number 1 with Indiana losing today. We'll start with the basketball.
And when you watch Florida on offense, Dave, expect a lot of ball screens. Billy Donovan loves pick and pop, and especially with Eric Murphy at the 4 spot.
Rosario driving, and a foul as Ashley tried to get position. So Rosario will go to the free throw line, where he shoots 91%. Florida can score, but really its calling card this year defense, which is totally a turnaround from last year where they really struggled on the defensive end of the floor, yet still went to the Elite Eight. Second road game of the year for Florida. Their last game was 10 days ago, a blowout win at Florida State. Billy Donovan now in his 17th year, longest tenured coach in the SEC.
And you'll watch out after this free throw, you'll see some full court pressure by the Florida Gators. With Will You Get leading the way, and they get a ton of deflections, creating a lot of offense.
Fourth game this year between top 10 teams in college basketball, and the first here at McKale Center in Tucson in almost a decade. And a basket by Tarczewski, one of 2 freshman starters on this 8th-ranked Arizona squad.
And that was perfect zone offense there, Dave. They get the ball side to side, then they get the freshman Brandon Ashley in the high post with a nice drop-off.
A lot of contact early, no whistles. Florida had a couple of cracks at it. Now Johnson out in transition, drives the lane, swatted by Uget, but a foul on Rosario, the first foul on Florida. And with Indiana, the number 1 ranked team in the country, Dave Pasch, Miles Simon, going down today, Florida on the road trying to make a case that maybe it belongs in the conversation for the top team in the nation.
Well, if you look at Florida this year, their top 7 guys are juniors and seniors. They went to the Elite Eight the past 2 years, so a majority of those players have played in big games. They're one of probably the top 5 teams in the country, and they're going to be in contention to play for the Final Four and possibly a national championship. But this is a big proving ground right here against a top 10 team on the road.
Arizona right now carrying the torch for the Pac-12, trying to give the league a huge pre-conference schedule victory. Early lead over Florida. Into the game for the Gators. A guy we weren't sure was going to play, Wilbekin, who's got a broken finger. Billy Donovan was not sure how much he'd play, but he's in there right now as Florida's going small. Murphy on the catch. Lost it. Rosario there, and now Murphy an open 3. He can really stroke it. He's shooting better than 43% from behind the arc.
He really does a great job of stretching out defenses. He's a face-up 4-man, but knocks it down from 3-point range with ease. Great pass by Rosario.
That's zoned by the Gators and Lions. A deep 3. Able to answer for the Cats.
Mark Lyons is who Sean Miller calls his guttiest player. He's never scared. He believes in himself, and he's a warrior. And look for him to make a lot of big shots tonight.
Coming off his best game as a member of the Wildcats, had 20 a week ago against Clemson. He's a transfer from Xavier after 4 years there with the Musketeers.
Dave, and here you see one adjustment. When Murphy is in pick and roll or pick and pop situations, Arizona is going to switch that and put the guard on Murphy and let the bigs, Ashley or Jared, switch on to the perimeter player for Florida.
Lions with a good look. Tarczewski, though, couldn't handle it as he tried to put it on the floor. Our one-on-one. Let's talk Florida defense. Right now, number 2 in the nation in points allowed.
They really do a great job of switching up their defenses. Full court pressure. 2-3 zone has been a staple this year. They have a lot of confidence that. And the young Arizona front court needs to do a great job in the paint and rebounding the basketball for the Wildcats to win.
Early 2-point lead for Arizona here at home. Wilbekin with the dump down. Almost a strip, and Young with strong hands able to reverse it. And after the skip, Rosario drains a 3. The second 3-point basket for Florida. here in the opening minutes.
Excellent recognition by the big fella Patrick Young to skip that ball to the weak side. Rosario ready to shoot.
And Wilbekin picks up a foul, the second on Florida. Murphy's going to go to the bench. You get in, so Florida will stay small here. Both these teams have had long layoffs. Arizona played a week ago. Florida's last game was 10 days ago.
And for Florida, that can be a big concern. Coming across the country yesterday, having to play in a big game in a tough atmosphere. Let's see if they have any rust.
There's Ashley spinning on Yaget. Challenged by Young. Again, contact but no whistle. Here's Florida out in transition. Kenny Boyd, active leading scorer in the SEC. Off the dribble, driving the lane. Beautiful move. Getting it to drop over Tarzewski.
Kenny Boyden came into college known as a scorer or a gunner. He can put that ball in the hoop.
Great hands. Rosario almost saved it to Wilbekin. It turns out to be an opportunity for Arizona in transition. A missed three by Johnson and out of bounds to the Gators.
Kenny Boyden doing a great job of using the on ball. He rejects it, comes back off. Beautiful runner in the lane. Soft touch by Kenny Boyden.
Now Young will get a breather, and Murphy back in for Florida.
I like what Billy Donovan is doing, really rotating those guys in and out. He goes about 8 deep in his lineup, but getting everybody on the floor, getting them used to the feel of the atmosphere and the game.
And you got Hill on Rosario as, again, Florida's going small.
And here's that switch. Brandon Ashley on Boyden. Nick Johnson having to guard Murphy.
Ashley able to get the rebound and save it. Lions lost it. Wilbekin will take it down the court. And that's going to be goaltending as Lions swatted it after it hit the glass. A good start for Florida on the road, leading by 5. Both teams can shoot the three. Eric Murphy, 43% from behind the arc. And then Mark Lyons with the answer for the Wildcats early, down 5 at home. Shooting it well, too, from three-point land to start this game, hitting both attempts from behind the arc. Court pressure by the Gators. Here's Mark Lyons, recruited by Sean Miller when he was at Xavier before leaving to come here to Arizona. And then after Lyons graduated, he was eligible to transfer and play immediately here in Tucson.
And that's one reason that Sean Miller had a lot of confidence in bringing Mark Lyons in and letting him be the point guard of this team.
That was off of Parham after the missed three by Jarrett. What do you make of what they just did there against Florida zone by having Kevin Parham a guard forward in the high post?
Well, in this lineup, Parham is really the small forward or the shooting guard in this lineup. Putting him, he's better inside. He likes to be active. He likes contact, and they don't lose any perimeter shooting with 6'10" Grant Jarrett outside the three-point line. An adjustment that Sean Miller made because they've struggled against zones earlier this season.
So Jarrett missed that one. He's a 40% three-point shooter and had an open look because of the Parham pass. Shot clock at 9 for Florida, and Boynton will take the three. Off target and pulled down by Solomon Hill.
And that's what they'll live with when they're doing the switching on the pick and rolls. Contested threes, having Boynton shoot it over the 6'10" Jarrett.
Hill's three won't go. And Boynton out of there with it. Here he goes on Lyons down the lane. Hill with the rejection. It'll stay Florida ball. A good hustle by Hill down court.
Dave, right now the danger for Arizona settling for too many perimeter jump shots, which leads to run out like this, but Solomon Hill able to recover, one of the most versatile players in all of America, making the beautiful shot block on the hustle back attempt.
Hill, a senior from Los Angeles, playing mostly small forward now after last year because Arizona was undersized, had to play a lot of power forward. Some young bigs on this Wildcat team.
Well, Arizona, a team that grew 3 inches from 6'4" to 6'7" in their starting lineup and put on 20 pounds of weight from 220 to 240. And there's Eric Murphy having an All-American type season so far for the Florida Gators, able to go off the bounce and get to the rim.
You got to guard him on the perimeter, and you got to guard him not taking it to the basket as Florida has opened up its largest lead.
And Florida looks very comfortable. Doesn't look like too much rust after a 10-day layoff, but that's what happens when you have many upperclassmen on your roster and playing.
Karaszewski working on the strong Patrick Young. Shot clock at 8. Hill takes it to the bucket, draws a foul. And we'll go to the line to try to end this 9-0 Florida run as Frazier picks up the personal. His first and the third on the Gators. Oh, you talked about the experience on this Florida team. Meanwhile, for Arizona, they've got young bigs. Hill's a veteran. Lyons has had a lot of game action, but this is the first big test for a lot of these players on this Arizona team.
It is. You have to remember that the Pac-12 last year really struggled. The Pac-12 did not get a win versus a ranked team last season. This is a big proving ground, not only for Arizona on a national stage, but also the Pac-12, that the Pac-12 is trying to make a comeback. They've had some nice wins early on in the season, with Colorado beating Baylor, Oregon winning at a ranked UNLV team. But Arizona, getting a top 5 team in your house, you need to hold home court advantage.
Those free throws end the 9-0 run by Florida. Gators very sharp early on. Prather, who missed the first few games this year because of concussions for Florida, is out there. Rosario got the defender in the air. An open baseline jumper is good. Florida 6 of 11 shooting to start the game. And back up by 7.
Mike Rosario was a big-time scorer his first 2 years at Rutgers, averaging 16 points a game. His shooting percentages are down, but he's very capable of putting up big numbers.
He's got 7 so far. And they're matching Arizona as a team.
And there we see Parham in that high post area. Arizona's gone really small, really, with 2 guards, 2 shooting guards, and then Jarrett playing the center position.
And Jarrett stepped on the baseline. He's the 3rd freshman to see action for Arizona, which does not have a field goal in the last 5 minutes. A timeout called here. Florida on top by 7. 7 minutes gone by in Tucson. This matchup here tonight on Tuesday, a top 15 women's matchup, Tennessee and Baylor. You also have Richmond, Kansas on the men's side, and Stanford, NC State, 9 Eastern. Those games on ESPN2.
Kansas had a blowout win against Belmont tonight. Jeff Withey playing like an All-American. Elijah Johnson manning the point guard role for them. And they have a star in the making in Ben McLemore.
Young cutting to the bucket, couldn't handle the pass. Arizona ball.
And that was the right play, because the Arizona big, Grant Jarrett in that case, was going to hedge hard Patrick Young with the beautiful slip, but the pass, just too much steam on it from Rosario.
Patrick Young, a couple games ago against Marquette, was benched by Billy Donovan. Wanted to light a fire under him. It worked. Played very well off the bench in that Marquette game. Had 10 points and 10 rebounds in 22 minutes and was back in the starting lineup in the next game against Florida State. Good defense by Young there. Arizona keeps possession, though. Hill with a 3 from the wing. And Parham able to save it. Now they rule that he stepped out.
Excellent penetrating kick action there by the Wildcats, but Solomon Hill is catching the ball, not ready to shoot. He doesn't have his knees bent, therefore didn't get any legs or lift into that shot, and it made it go short.
Only 9 points for Arizona, but not a surprise with the way Florida has defended this year. 5 of the Gators' 7 opponents have scored under 50 in a game this year. Rosario with 7 early points. You get facing up. Into the line, has another trap. Missed the shot, rebounded by Jarrett. Johnson trying to fire it inside, but Cho could not handle the pass. Now Boyd in transition, leaves it for Rosario. His floater off target, not a bounce to Arizona. Now Billy Donovan has done a terrific job in Florida. Well, don't think I see that yet, but a game like this today will be able to take, whether win or lose, a lot from it, work on that in practice, which will help prepare us for March.
Yeah, I think this is the big proving ground for Florida going on the road. He knows he has a veteran squad, very experienced guys that have played in the Elite Eight, played in big games, played in big SEC games. but to come on the road against a top 10 team is a tough challenge.
And meanwhile, Arizona looks tight. 5 turnovers already and just 2 field goals. They have not made a basket in the last 7 minutes.
I feel like they're really rushing. They've been fumbling basketballs. Just haven't been sharp. Hasn't been great execution, where Florida looks very relaxed and very in control of this game.
Shot clock at 4. Boynton sees it and can't bank it in, but Prather is there with the offensive rebound, and he turns it over. Johnson with his 20th steal on the year, but couldn't get the bucket in transition. Parham working hard, and finally Arizona ends that drought of 7.5 minutes without a field goal.
And that's going to get the crowd into this game, Dave, and that's something Coach Billy Donovan worried about, the emotional level of this game. The Wildcats can feed off this McHale Center crowd.
Nick Johnson, a sophomore from Gilbert, Arizona, a terrific athlete. You saw it on the defensive end. Prather is short, controlled by Jarrett.
And they miss Jordan Mays wide open for a layup. When you get that rebound, have your head up.
Parham's 3 won't go. Tapped out to Rosario for Florida. Beautiful look as Yaget was cutting. He couldn't finish. Prather there. Looked like Jarrett got a piece of that last attempt. The numbers for Arizona, if they hurry, 5 on 4. Tough shot along the baseline by Parham, in and out. And now Billy Donovan calls a timeout. His team leading by 5 midway through the first half.
Nick Johnson with a great job of anticipation there, averaging over 2 steals per ball game. I would have liked to see him attack, but look at Kevin Parham just making a hustle play, sprinting down the court, anticipating a miss. Those are the types of winning basketball plays that help you in a top 10 matchup.
And if you haven't been following the Pac-12 or Arizona, you know, Parham is such a great story.
But you lose part of yourself when your grandmother passes away, and then you lose your mom to breast cancer, and then you're all the way across the country. Kevin Parham, a New York native. Just a very, very difficult year for that young man.
Good job by Yaget with the ball fake. Went underneath and put it in, and Florida back up 7.
Well, that was an excellent job getting that ball into the high post and then looking down low right away, and beautiful patience by Yaget.
Arizona has not had a lot of easy shots, but they get one here. That's because of the great look by Lyons. Faked out the defender and hit Tarczewski for the jam.
Mark Lyons did an unbelievable job of navigating that pick up top against the zone, and there's a lot of room on this baseline against the Gators' 2-3 zone defense.
Murphy's 3 won't go, and Johnson, the only one under the bucket, gets the rebound. Tarczewski, the leading scorer for Arizona with 4. Rosario is 7 atop Florida midway through the first half. Gators by 5. Johnson in trouble.
Ashley has to be big in that high post area. He's not showing his arms at 6'8". He's playing small.
Tarczewski missed the follow after the miss by Johnson, and then Rosario got on the floor. Oh, great hustle by Florida. Wilbekin saved it. He's shaken up on the other end. I'll jog back into your picture now on offense as Boynton waits for him.
And Wilbekin's holding his groin area as he comes down to the floor to the right corner.
Rosario, a floater, way off the mark. First time we've had a top 10 matchup here in Tucson since 2004. And Mark Lyons trying to ignite the bench and the crowd here at McHale Center.
How about the change of pace by Mark Lyons? Jogs it up the floor, sees a little bit of an opening, explodes to the basket, and gets the lay-in.
Arizona's got it down to 3. Rosario, and good defense by Ashley. Shot clock at 8. Boynton reestablishes, then misfires on the 3, and a backside board by Rosario. And a fresh shot clock for Florida. Ball screened by Murphy. And good defense, otherwise Murphy maybe has an open 3 at the head of the key. Murphy on the post-up, facing up on Tarczewski. Murphy off the window, and it counts. And boy, it was close to basket interference by Yaget. Hard to tell whether he touched the ball while it was in the net.
Well, that's a part of the game that really Eric Murphy has improved on, is his post-up. He's gotten stronger from his freshman year, and he goes to work down low. And Mark Lyons leading the charge for the Arizona Wildcats as they're trying to cut Nick Johnson, Mark Lyons, Kevin Parham onto one of the bigs, but their rotations have been much, much tighter in the last few minutes.
I got to imagine that's hard to simulate in practice, right? So maybe it took some time for them to get used to that against this Florida team.
It's different doing it game speed against a Florida team that's used to running their type of ball screens than doing it against a scout team for the last week.
Got Hill on Murphy now, and the interception by Lyons. Lyons challenged by Murphy, and Lyons really has it going now. He's got 7 points. Arizona back within 3.
For Arizona, it was a no-brainer to take Mark Lyons for the graduation rule to transfer. A young man that scored over 1,300 points at Xavier.
How will Florida respond with a crowd into it now, and Arizona playing better on the defensive end? Murphy with a shot clock at 7. Rosario is fouled. Just the second foul on Arizona, and Rosario will shoot 2. On Tarczewski.
Arizona does a great job. Look at Mark Lyons just anticipating, digging in, sagging off Mike Rosario. Then he goes right to the 10 against Eric Murphy. Excellent job by Mark Lyons on both ends of the floor with the steal and then the finish.
And Rosario, the leading scorer tonight, along with Murphy, 7 points apiece for Florida at the foul line. Yaget and Wilbekin come back in, and Parham returns for U of A. Boynton will go to the bench. Kenny Boynton, the last few games, has struggled shooting the ball. He's 0 for 3 from 3 in this game, and just 1 for his last 16. So more pressure on guys like Rosario to score for Florida with Boynton struggles.
But I think you know with Boynton, it's going to come. It's just a matter of when. He's really done a great job going back to last season and the early parts of this season with better shot selection than he did as a freshman and sophomore when he was known as more of a gunner or a scorer, really rounding out his game.
Oh, Lyons, bad play there. Caught in the air, and then Young slipped on the floor. Lyons gets on the court, and he stepped on the end line before he could call timeout. But Arizona's lucky that Florida didn't have a dunk after a mistake by Lyons.
Here's Mark Lyons. Hold it right here. You never dribbled to this area against a pressing defense. And then you make a cross-court skip pass. Patrick Young, great anticipation there, just couldn't get his footing down. But that's part of the maturation of Mark Lyons, who played off the ball at Xavier. Tu Holloway was the point guard. Lyons still learning on a daily basis.
Wilbekin for 3. And Florida leads by 8. And Lyons hurt his right elbow, and you could tell by that replay he clearly did not have possession before he went out of bounds. So a good call by the official not to give him a timeout. Largest lead of the game for Florida. Parham on the baseline, gets past Young, but couldn't hit the layup. Parham got it back, and then Young rejects it.
You have to finish those opportunities the first time, because Patrick Young is an excellent shot blocker, and he was waiting to clean that off the glass from Kevin Parham.
Yaget dumps it down to Young. Beautiful shot with the left hand, and it's a 10-point lead for Florida. It's largest of the night.
All the potential and talent is there for Patrick Young. It's up to him to bring it on a daily and nightly basis for the Gators.
Florida picking up the intensity on the defensive end now. Everybody on the court, a lot of contact, officials letting it go. Arizona keeps possession.
And Arizona looks really out of sorts. Sean Miller was actually signaling for a timeout, but no player and no referee saw it.
And Young picks up the foul. His first and the 4th on Florida. Jim Boeheim's climbed to 900. Could culminate Monday against Detroit on ESPN2 at 7 Eastern. Holiday Hoops presented by Kay Jewelers. You got win number 899 tonight against Canisius. thought Boeheim's comments this week about the Big East with the news of the 7 Catholic schools leaving the Big East and basically the league a shell of what it used to be. He said without Dave Gavitt in the Big East, I wouldn't have 100 wins. And here he is right now on the cusp of 900.
And I didn't give personally, but as an Arizona Wildcat, Syracuse beat my teams twice as a freshman and sophomore. I remember going to the dome there, the Carrier Dome, and Lawrence Moulton and John Wallace just putting in some work on us when I was a freshman. One of the toughest places to play. Jim Boeheim, one of the greatest coaches of all time.
And we talked with Billy Donovan, who of course played at Providence and gave Syracuse a win when they lost to them in the Final Four. Was a Keith Smart fadeaway baseline jumper away from a title in '87. And he'll look to get win number 900 on Monday against Detroit. He would be the third to do that, joining Bob Knight and Coach K.
But how about the chalkboard? Not a dry erase board. That's how long he's been around. Yeah. Chalkboards.
Backcourt made of Dave Bing back in the day at Syracuse.
And Arizona going small again. Grant Jarrett at the center. Look at Jordan Mays having the battle. The 6'10 Eric Murphy in the post area. Can Florida recognize?
Shot clock at 3. Murphy nails a 3 to beat the buzzer.
Bad job defensively by the Wildcats. Johnson and Mays were supposed to switch that pick and pop situation with each other, guard to guard, going to Eric Murphy. Murphy makes him pay with the 3.
That's his 10th point, his second three-point basket. Florida inside 4 minutes to go in the half, leads by 11. And good hands by Rosario. Tried to save it. Boy, it looked like a foul on Arizona on Jordan Mays, but no call. It'll be Arizona ball. But an 11-point lead for the Gators on the road in this matchup of top 10 teams here in Tucson.
And all week, Sean Miller worked on switching pick and rolls, pick and pop situations with Eric Murphy. You see Nick Johnson right here and Jordan Mays. They're interchangeable. They're the same positional player. They need to switch. Bad communication by Jordan Mays. Therefore, Eric Murphy makes him pay with the late 3 in the shot clock. Arizona needs to do a better job of communicating on the defensive end.
Florida 4 of 8 from behind the arc, an 11-point lead with 3.5 to go in the first. Arizona shooting just 33% and taking tough shots, but Mays bailed out with a foul there, the 5th on Florida. First on Prather.
And really, Billy Donovan and the Florida Gators switching defenses have kept the Wildcats really off balance and out of rhythm the whole first half. They started in a 2-3 zone. We've seen full court pressure where they got deflections and steals in transition. Now they go half court man-to-man out of the timeout. Great coaching by Billy Donovan. 28 possessions by Arizona, 7 forced turnovers, 8 deflections by the Gators.
They are suffocating defensively, and that was not the case last year. They struggled on the defensive end. Team shot 42% from the field against them last year. This year, just 35%. And Wisconsin, Marquette, Florida State, teams they beat, not the same as those teams were last year, but still good clubs that have not been able to do anything offensively against the Gators.
And when I got to talk to Coach Donovan yesterday, I asked him why more zone. They're playing twice as much 2-3 zone this season. He feels he has a really active group. They really understand their rotations, and they have great length at every position.
Meanwhile, Arizona staying in the game with free throws, 8 of 8, as Young inside with the right hand. We saw the left hand earlier. Back to an 11-point Gator lead with 3 to play in the first. Solomon Hill without a field goal yet. A good look to Tarczewski. Great hands again by the Gators. You get with the strip.
And there's those active hands. Tarczewski makes a freshman mistake, a big guy mistake, bringing that ball down low below his waist where it can be stripped.
And you get such an excellent defensive player. And Florida, very good team defense. Another three-point try. This one way off the mark of Murphy.
And they're lucky because they didn't switch that pop situation there with Murphy. He just didn't convert.
Mays off target. Arizona 1 of 7 from behind the arc. Wilbekin on the drive. Young, a tough shot, and you get with the offensive rebound. Couple of tips, won't go. and Young and Tarczewski both hit the deck. So does Yaget, and they're going to get Tarczewski for the foul. That's his second personal, third team foul. And the takedown there, bringing Murphy with him.
Patrick Young catching it at 12 feet there. Patience in the post, goes to his back down, and the head and shoulder fake is what created the room for him to get that middle jump hook off against the 7-footer Tarczewski.
Young with 4 points, no rebounds, but Florida leading by 11. That was Johnson who had the strip, and then Young lost the handle. He's had a couple of turnovers here in the first half.
Excellent job of digging down by Nick Johnson there to get his hand on that ball and deflect it off Patrick Young.
Minute and a half to go in the first half. Fifth-ranked Florida at number 8 Arizona, leading 32-21. Lions backdoor. Now Johnson for 3. It's good. First field goal for Nick Johnson pulls Arizona back with an 8.
This is a man who's really made a big jump from his freshman to sophomore year, leads the team in points, assists, and steals.
Boynton has it rejected by Ashley. Here's Johnson again. Back-to-back threes for Nick Johnson. Florida's lead down to 5 with under a minute to go in the first half. You get him a low block. Good defense by Ashley. And now Wilbekin with possession. Drives the lane. Shields the defender but can't score. And a late whistle. A foul on Arizona. If that's Tarczewski, that's number 3. So 3 personal fouls on freshman Caleb Tarczewski, their 7-footer.
And here's Nick Johnson just sparking with the NBA 3. He was locked and loaded, ready to shoot. The pass was delivered on time. And then Solomon Hill finding the hot hand in transition. Both of those opportunities created by great defensive possessions by the Wildcats.
Let's see if Florida holds for the final shot here. 22 seconds remaining in the half. And again, Tarczewski picking up that 3rd foul with under 30 seconds to go here in the half. Johnson defending Boynton. 9 seconds to go. And Boynton lost it. Hill with the steal. 5 seconds left. Hill with the stop. Murphy from half court. It's good if it goes, but it won't. And a great close to the first half by Arizona. 8 straight for the Wildcats to end the half and pull within 3 of 5th-ranked Florida. The former coach liking what his current coach is doing. You saw Lute Olson and Sean Miller and company pull within 3 at the break.
Well, a great job. Here comes the high ball screen. Solomon Hill, the senior, jumps the ball screen. They were going to switch. Billy Donovan and the Gators wanted a kick, but a great finish to the half for the Arizona Wildcats at the end on an 8-0 run, getting the home crowd heavily involved.
Kay Jewelers halftime report. Chris Cotter in the studio. Stayed in that half for a while because of free throw shooting. Was 8 of 8 at the line in that half. And Tarczewski is not starting the second half. Sean Miller electing to keep him on the bench after picking up his 3rd personal foul at the end of the half. So Grant Jarrett, another freshman, will start in the middle for Arizona.
And Florida started the first half in 2-3 zone, start the second half in man-to-man. They have a mismatch. Solomon Hill wanted the post up against Wilbekin.
Here's Jarrett trying to back down Murphy. Jarrett falling away, bricked it, and Rosario with the rebound.
Murphy did a beautiful job of just walling up right there, not jumping on the up and under pump fake by Grant Jarrett.
Murphy led Florida in that first half and scoring with 10 points. Rosario had 9. Nick Johnson had 8 to lead the way for Arizona. Murphy If you leave him open for a second, he'll kill you. That's his third 3 of the ball game.
And that's a beautiful set call with staggered side pick and rolls. Murphy setting the second one after Patrick Young slips on the first, leaving Murphy wide open.
And Tarczewski off the bench will come into the next dead ball for Arizona. Ashley cutting out to Hill. He'll try a 3. Able to answer his 15th three-point basket of the season to lead Arizona.
Solomon Hill's a much improved three-point shooter. Only made 4 total threes his freshman year. This year on pace for 60 as a senior.
And Johnson almost with a steal. And collides with Michael Irving. The referee couldn't save it.
And look at these staggered on-ball screens. We freeze it first. Here's a slip by Patrick Young. He clears out. Eric Murphy coming into the second one. Confusion by the Wildcats as we let it roll. Confusion by Hill and Jarrett, leaving Eric Murphy, arguably the best three-point shooter on the Gators roster, wide open pick-and-pop situation.
Florida's 5 of 10 from 3. Arizona's made its last 3 triples after starting 1 of 7. Ashley way out on Murphy this time.
And here's the mismatch. Wilbekin has to either attack Ashley.
Better Young trying to get Tarczewski to pick up his 4th foul. And Murphy with the backside offensive rebound. They get 9 offensive rebounds in the first half. They turn it over on this possession. Arizona with a chance to pull within 1 or maybe tie it here. Florida has not trailed past the 15-minute mark of the first half in any game this year. Tarczewski stepped out trying to save it after the miss.
That's an amazing statistic, to not trail after the 15-minute mark, and you're in your 8th game of the season. Let's see if Arizona can make a run, try to get the lead, and how would the Gators respond from playing behind.
Now, Florida has just been pummeling teams. Their average margin of victory is 25 points. They do have a veteran roster, but we'll see in a close game how they respond. Same goes for Arizona. They're beating teams by 20 points per game. They have a much younger lineup than Florida.
And Arizona, a team that has played from behind already this season, trailed at the half by 8 to Southern Miss at home.
Shot clock at 4. Rosario sees it, and he'll get off a good shot. Got past Solomon Hill and got the layup.
And that's just a high basketball IQ of play by Rosario. He gave a peek to the clock and didn't rush a 3. Knew he had time to get to the basket.
Tarczewski fading away over Young, and Young got a piece of it. Great defense by Patrick Young.
Tarzewski's a strong young man, but not stronger than Patrick Young. Couldn't back him down, and that forced Tarzewski into the turnaround J.
Young in the low block again on Tarzewski. And swooping through the lane, we've seen him with the left hand, a couple of times with the right hand, and Florida's back up 7. And Sean Miller wants to talk about it. Timeout, Arizona. Now Florida led by 3 at the break, but in the first 3 minutes of the second half, extending its lead to 7. Rosario with 11, Murphy with 13 for the Gators. Well, earlier tonight, well, you're smiling right now looking at that. It's okay. Feel free, big guy.
I'm still speechless. It was obviously one of the best basketball experiences of my life. Longtime friends, Jason Terry, Mike Bibby, A.J. Bramlett. Incredible run we had, beating 3 #1 seeds. Still the only team to ever do it.
Jason Terry still playing now with the Celtics. Here's Johnson at 2 threes at the end of the half. He'll drive this time and see if they call a blocking foul. Not sure. Yep, you get. He might have still had a foot in the restricted area. That's the first on Florida in the half.
Well, nice job of just a little bit of a shot fake. Gets the defender out of his stance. Yaget is moving into Nick Johnson, even though he was outside of the restricted area. Nice attack by the sophomore Nick Johnson from Phoenix, Arizona.
Slid into Johnson that time and picked up his first foul. Johnson, 72% free throw shooter.
Young man that played at Finlay Prep High School. Been a powerhouse about the past 5 or 6 years. Anthony Bennett, who's at UNLV now, is having a monster year, but they produced Tristan Thompson, Avery Bradley, Corey Joseph.
Neither team has missed a free throw. Arizona's 10 of 10, Florida 4 of 4. The Gators still leading, 5-point advantage. Kenny Boynton has struggled for Florida tonight, just 2 points, 1 of 6 from the field. Wilbekin on the drive, out to Rosario. Also, Boynton does not have an assist. He does have 4 rebounds. Shot clock at 8. Rosario with 5. Into the lane, the floater is good. Second time he's beaten the shot clock buzzer here in the second half already. Here's Hill for 3. He's starting to heat up his second 3 of the half.
Arizona has to do a better job on the defensive end. They guarded for 32 seconds. But again, Rosario with the patience gets the nice runner in the lane, but Solomon Hill with the great answer on the other end.
There's Prather for 3, able to answer. Just his second 3-point basket of the year. And Florida's back up 7.
And those are some of those unexpected points or unexpected shots. Sean Miller will live with that, but a big hoop for Casey Prather.
Both teams shooting it better from 3 than 2-point land in this game, as Ashley misses an easy one there. Brandon Ashley has not scored in this game. Came in averaging 9 points, 6 rebounds. Excellent look. And the slam by Yaget. That's a technical hanging on the rim. He's saying that Chol was under the basket and that he was just trying to protect himself, and that's why he hung on the rim. The officials are talking about it, but Michael Irving signaled the technical. The other 2 officials discussed it. Let's see if they change the call.
Excellent job by Boynton. Nice, beautiful pocket pass. That's a technical. He pulled himself up on the rim. Chol was behind him, nowhere near being underneath him. Chol was out of the way. Yaget could have just landed on the ground. He did a chin up on the rim. Nice job by Michael Irving on the call and the recognition.
You like the other 2 officials at least going over to have the discussion?
I do, because they could have had a different view of the play that Michael Irving didn't have. Love when officials get together and confer.
So Hill will have 1 more free throw than Arizona with the ball. Wildcats 11 of 11 at the line. They have 11 free throws and 11 field goals.
The foul line really saving them. Arizona, a team that dominates their opponents at the foul line. Pace to make 60 this year as a senior. 6'7", 220, handles the ball, gets to play his natural position this season of small forward. Had to spend a lot of time banging down low because of the lack of size and depth for the Wildcats last year.
5.5 gone by in the second half. Florida on top by 7 in this matchup of top 10 teams. Lions can't hit the 3. Nice touch by Arizona. The Wildcats have been able to get within 3 a couple of times, but unable to get over the hump. Florida, even though Boynton struggles, just comes at you. They can score in a lot of different ways, and they're very balanced offensively, and obviously on defense, they're just terrific.
Well, 7 of the 8 guys that have played tonight have scored. They throw so many things at you defensively, and then offensively, having juniors and seniors in your lineup allows them to execute their offense at a high level.
Wilbekin, he buries a 3. The 7th triple for Florida tonight, and it's back to double figures.
And this is a young man that's playing with a broken right ring finger, has the middle finger and ring finger taped together. I was wondering if it was going to affect his shooting. 2 threes knocked down tonight for Wilbekin.
Yeah, he hasn't missed. He's 3 of 3 from the field, 2 of 2 from behind the arc. Got a Florida foul here. And you see he's holding that finger there. I mean, you've had this happen to you. How tough is it to shoot when it's your right hand that's affected?
Well, one, when you shoot the basketball, the ball should leave your index finger and your middle finger last. But now he has 2 fingers taped together, the ring finger and middle finger. It's a little bit of an adjustment, but Scotty Wilbekin has adjusted obviously very well and feels very comfortable with the fingers taped, knocking down shots.
Billy told us he wasn't going to start him, but he would play. Wasn't sure how much, but Wilbekin has played his normal minutes in this game. He just picked up a foul, though. His second personal, second on Florida here in the half. Hill spinning in the lane. Now Lions on the drive. Good block. Lions got it back. And now foul called on Prather, and Lions will go to the free throw line. That's 2 on Prather and 3 on the Gators. Well, the New York Jets still alive for a playoff spot. You can catch them Monday night against the Titans. That's true. They're still alive for a playoff spot. It'll be tough, 6 and 7. Monday Night Football on ESPN. Coverage starting 6:30. Monday Night Countdown served by Applebee's. Arizona 12 of 12 at the free throw line. And Lyons keeps it going. He's an 88% free throw shooter this year. Shot 73% over his career at Xavier.
He's been a great addition to this team. His teammates love him. He's molded in to this roster seamlessly. But he needs to be more aggressive here in the second half if the Wildcats want to come back and pull off the victory.
Florida going back to its bench. 2 subs at the scorers table. They've only gone 8 deep tonight. Wilbekin splits the double team out to Boynton. And he continues to struggle. 4 from 3. Prater, though, gives them a second opportunity. Another offensive rebound. That's 11 now for the Gators. And they're plus 11 overall on the glass. Not a lot of second chance points, though. See, it happens on this possession. Murphy had it go off his foot, turned it over. Parham into the lane. Wilbekin able to strip. And then Parham, is it a travel? No, they're going to call it jump ball. Hard to tell whether Parham had possession and then walked, whether there was a foul or a jump. And on the possession arrow, it will be Florida ball.
And when Parham got that basketball, he had a little bit of indecision. Didn't know if to attack or not. Made the wrong choice there. There was 2 Gators back on defense. Wilbekin getting his hand on that basketball. And what I don't like right there, 4 blue Gator uniforms in the paint, only 1 Arizona player. Arizona players need to pick up their pace and tempo and intensity.
Florida ball, 8-point lead. They've been a dominant team rebounding this year, but struggling in the glass tonight. And a 3-point opportunity for Yeget. Great hang and score by Will Yeget. And an opportunity to extend the lead to 11.
And this is Yeget with the little shoulder fake. Goes straight into the chest of Brandon Ashley, who tried to stay big but gets the body contact. Pure strength and power, and excellent touch by Will Yeget, who really Florida coach Billy Donovan raved about yesterday. He said it's hard to find a guy across the country that's willing to do the things that don't show up in a box score that Will Yeget does every day in practice and in games.
That's the first free throw missed by either team tonight. 12-minute mark here in the second half. 5th-ranked Florida leading number 8 Arizona by 10.
Back to the zone for Florida, mixing and matching their defenses.
Mays for 3. And up high is Young, and Young able to get the rebound. Pointing off the Young screen.
Look at the patience that Florida has on offensively. They never seem rushed, never seem out of sorts. They're going to get the shot that they want every possession.
Tarczewski just picked up his 4th foul. He did clip Young. He thought it was incidental contact, but a foul is called, and that's the 4th on the 7-foot freshman center for Tarczewski.
Still waiting on Mike Kabongo to see if he's going to be eligible. Rick Barnes has to be fuming. The NCAA not doing their job at due diligence to make a decision on that young man one way or the other.
Here with 11 to play, Florida leading by 10, shooting 80% from the field here in the second half. Looking very comfortable on the road. Have not played in 10 days, but you wouldn't know it. They've been very poised, executed beautifully on both ends. Young couldn't score there. Aaron clears.
And look, even when they hold them to 1 shot, Arizona can't get out in transition. The guards are back for Florida. They set their defense that they want and are going to make Arizona use time off the clock every possession.
Well, what happened? This is a team that struggled defensively last year as Young ties up Johnson. It will stay Arizona ball according to the possession arrow. Why are they so much better? Because you got mostly the same guys. I know you lost Beal and you lost your point guard, but the other guys are back, but defensively, they're a totally different team.
The chemistry is good. The guys have bought into their roles. They're comfortable in their roles of what they're going to provide game in and game out, and that's a recipe for success, and especially when you have veterans.
Shot clock at 3. Jarrett has to fire, and he hits. Boy, they needed that. The bigs for Arizona, especially the freshmen, have struggled tonight in their biggest challenge, their young careers. Murphy looked like he traveled. No whistle.
Got away with the walk. Shuffled his feet when he picked up the dribble.
Almost a steal by Johnson. Here's Boynton with 7 to shoot. He'll drive and kick to the corner for Rosario. Hits a 3. Oh, Mike Rosario playing maybe his best game as a Gator. He's got 16 points. He's hit both of his three-point tries.
But even more than that, Dave, 3 times in this half with 5 seconds or less, Mike Rosario has made a big basket when Arizona's defense has broken down, or he's broken the defense down.
Parham got it back. And now a three-point opportunity. He missed the first time on Young, but did not on the second try. And Young picks up a second foul, 4th against the Gators here in the half.
And again, we've talked about the patience of Florida on offense. They don't feel rushed when the shot clock is winding down. Baseline drive, baseline drift action. Rosario's in the spot that he's supposed to be in. Then Kevin Parham with great perseverance on the offensive end, going up and through the bigger and stronger Patrick Young, going to the line for the three-point play.
Patrick Young doing a lot of talking afterwards. He didn't like a teammate, Wilbekin, coming over talking to him. And then Young had an extended conversation with the officials. Maybe that's why Billy Donovan's taking him out right here.
Yeah, he doesn't want Patrick Young to lose his composure at such a critical time in the game. 9.5 minutes to go. Arizona's still within striking distance.
And that's been a problem. That's one of the reasons why a couple of games ago against Marquette he was benched. So Donovan pulls him. And Florida's lead down to 8. Nearing the 9-minute mark here in the second half.
And Florida, because they've controlled the tempo and the pace, has kept the crowd out of it.
Parham ignites the break with the steal, and Johnson with the layup. Back to a 6-point game. And a timeout by Florida. Last win for Florida against a ranked non-conference team on the road in the top 10 was a decade ago. Now, they don't play a whole lot of true road games against top 10 non-league teams. They've had the lead throughout this game. Wilbekin high off the window, it won't go. Rebounded by Jarrett.
This lineup with Solomon Hill at the 4 spot has been the most effective for the Wildcats tonight. They've gone small. Hill feels comfortable because he had to play power forward a ton last year as a junior.
And with Parham and Lyons both on the floor, Arizona seems to execute better on offense. Here's Parham in the lane. The kick out and the jumper by Jarrett is good. And the lead is 4. Just outside 8 to go here in the second half in Tucson. Boynton will try another 3 and finally gets one to go. Just his second basket and his first three-point basket of the night.
He's the active leader in the SEC in points scored. 1,690 coming into this game. Big-time shot by the senior Kenny Boynton.
He was 1 for his last 17 from three-point land before that shot. And Florida back up 7. Hill into the lane, gets past Murphy and lays it into the left.
Nice job by Solomon Hill, slicing through the zone defense and attacking the rim and finishing.
They're going to call a 5-second violation on Boynton, a turnover by Florida. Timeout here in Tucson. 5-point lead for the Gators. Florida only 5 attempts, just 1 here in the half. Arizona 7 of 7 in the second half of the line. Only 1 turnover in the second half for Arizona. They got the ball trailing by 5.
And the zone that was so effective for Florida in the first half, they've really gone almost exclusively man-to-man in the second half.
Hill with the mismatch on Wilbekin. Young comes over with a double team, and Hill a dangerous pass and a turnover.
Ashley didn't make himself available when his man Patrick Young came over to double team. He has to step to the basketball. Solomon Hill was trying to give him a look.
Boyd fresh off his first three-point basket of the game. You get with the dump down. Young, jumper with the left hand. He's done that twice. And Young, terrific talent and potential, and we're really seeing it offensively here tonight.
Well, he's getting the ball in effective positions. The Arizona postmen are not forcing him off the block. He's already catching too deep.
Long three is good for Nick Johnson. Let him take that one. Boynton gave him a lot of room, and he buried it. Check that, it was Rosario defensively who gave him that room. The 4-point game. And got an Arizona foul on Jarrett. He's getting a lot of minutes in the second half with Tarzewski on the bench with 4 fouls, but Tarzewski's going to come into the game right now.
Patrick Young, because he scored over his left shoulder 3 or 4 times already in the game. Look at the patience. Had been setting it up with the middle jump hooks. He loves the left block. Now he goes to his weak hand. Excellent touch by the big fella down low.
Arizona couldn't stop him last year. He had 25 points, 10 rebounds, and an overtime win in Gainesville. You saw the numbers tonight for Young.
And you would think it might be a little bit different. Last year, Arizona very undersized. This year, they have the personnel down low, but Young with just the experience factor taking advantage.
Especially with Tarzewski not playing a whole lot because of the fouls, but he's in there now with his 4th. Wilbekin, great look. Murphy fouled, could not get the layup, and Tarzewski just fouled out. Is that remaining? And Murphy at the line. This will be just the 6th attempt at the free throw line for Florida. First attempt from Murphy at the line in the game. He had one of the better individual offensive performances of any player this year. 24 points against Wisconsin, was 10 of 10 from the field.
And in that game, only 2 threes in that game, so that shows his versatility. He's willing to play more in the paint area this season, an improved part of his offensive repertoire.
Full court pressure. And Hill will bring it up on Uget. Arizona down 6, nearing 5 to play. Both teams 7-0. With Indiana losing, you would think Duke would be number 1, but Florida trying to make a case to be in the conversation by getting a road win against a top 10 team.
Arizona looking lost offensively now, playing with Solomon Hill at the 4, which they haven't had to do as much this season.
Parham with a good kick out, line for 3 is there.
Whenever they've gone inside and out, Parham very effective at the high post, kicking out. Mark Lyons ready to shoot that basketball.
Well, Arizona's just continued to battle. You know, Florida defensively just can wear you down, but the Wildcats with another big 3-point shot, this time by Lyons, who has 12 points. Wilbekin finds Young in the lane, had it blocked, loose ball, bodies on the floor. And jump ball, it will stay Florida ball, but only 4 seconds on the shot clock. And Uget holding his left elbow as he hit the deck hard.
And Arizona goes from looking lost. They were early in the possession, gets the ball to Parham at the high post. Mark Lyons spots up from NBA range, holds that follow through, which he hadn't done on his previous 3-point shot that was short, knocks it down, gets the Wildcats to within 3.
We'll see what Billy Donovan draws up here during the timeout with 4 seconds to shoot. Move up with a win tonight, maybe jump those 2 one-loss teams. A terrific early season game here in Tucson. Florida leading Arizona by 3 with possession and 4 on the shot clock. And a turnover. Parham, 3. Off target and rebounded by Murphy. Arizona picking things up defensively as the Gators give it 3 on the road, under 4 to go.
An Olympic volleyball player if he chose to.
Under 4 to go. Arizona ball down 3. The last lead for the Wildcats was with 18.5 to play in the first half. Florida's led by as many as 10. Arizona, though, forcing turnovers in the second half while not turning it over on offense. Only 2 giveaways by the Wildcats in this half. Young picks up the foul. That's the 5th on Florida and the 3rd on Patrick Young. The largest lead for Florida tonight is 11. Side out. Billy Donovan trying to get a road win here against a top 10 team. They last played 10 days ago. Florida State blew them out. Average margin of victory 25 points. So let's see how this Gator team handles a close game. Same for Arizona. They've been blowing teams out as well. Average margin of victory 20 points.
Arizona needs to get Solomon Hill involved on this offensive possession.
Good hands by Young with the deflection. And knocked out of bounds by Yeget.
Hill's been their best option in the second half. Nick Johnson's knocked down some threes, but I think you got to get the senior Solomon Hill a touch.
Hill facing up on Yeget. He'll try the 3 and go for the tie. And he misses again. He tried that earlier in transition, but couldn't knock it down. Here comes the screen by Young, and Johnson got whacked. Johnson pretty tough, though. Bounce right off of it, kept going.
If I'm Florida, I find Patrick Young on a post-up against Grant Jarrett.
Wilbekin spotting up. In and out, and then back in for 3. Wilbekin has hit some big shots despite the broken finger on that shooting hand.
Wilbekin known more as a defender, but Billy Donovan really has credited him for being more of an offensive threat this past season, has improved his three-point shooting.
Extends the lead to 6 with 2:20 remaining. Johnson off the dribble, draws contact, and will go to the line. Wilbekin picked up the foul, his 3rd, and the 16th foul on the Gators.
And again, another excellent offensive possession by the Gators. Nice patience on the throwback to Scotty Wilbekin. He was ready to shoot that ball. He knew he was going to be open as the help had to come when Patrick Young rolled to the rim.
Florida's 10 of 16 from 3. They're shooting 70% from the field this half. Yet their lead right now is only 6 as Johnson misses the free throw, the first miss of the game for Arizona. They have made their first 15.
Florida is just one of the most well-rounded teams in the country. This team is going to be playing deep into March with all the weapons that they have on the offensive end, but also being one of the best teams defensively in the nation.
Johnson missed them both. Florida ball leading by 6 as we near 2 minutes to go. Sports Center up next here on ESPN. Highlights from all the college basketball and NBA games. A preview of Sunday's NFL games. Boynton way off with a 3-point try.
That was the one they didn't need. Kenny Boynton dribbling around the basketball. Nobody else got a touch. Bad possession by the Gators. And too quick of a shot by the Wildcats on the other end.
And that was Parham with the 3-point attempt. He's 2 for 8 from the field. Arizona with a couple of fouls to give. 1.5 minutes to go. Florida taking its time in this possession.
Florida makes you work. They get that ball going side to side. Very tough to defend.
Boynton can't hit the 3. Arizona ball down 6, nearing 1 minute to go, and Sean Miller wants to talk it over. Does not want a quick attempt like they've had the last couple of times down the court. So a 30-second
and execute either one of those.
Lions off the Hill screen. He'll take the 3, in and out. Now, is that what they wanted, or was that just Lions saying, I'm going to shoot it?
I think if you come off and you're open, it's a good shot. They obviously ran the high ball screen, but I don't think they finished the play. Sean Miller drew up something more than that in the timeout. Lions felt he was in rhythm, but I don't know if that's the shot they wanted.
You saw Johnson take the foul. Still one more foul to give. We'll see if they take it here in the backcourt. Let's look at the shot attempt here by Lyons.
Very difficult shot, contested three-point shot from three feet behind the three-point line over the bigger and longer Will you get.
And Johnson takes another foul. So that's the 16th foul. Next one will put Florida at the line. You would imagine they'll take it here and put the Gators at the stripe. And that was a contested shot with one of the best defenders in the nation. Will you get on you?
And in this situation, they want to make Patrick Young try to catch this basketball.
Oh, Johnson almost got the steal. Parham comes up with it, and he's fouled. Wow. Oh, Johnson made that happen, and there was a flurry of attention over on the far side in front of the Arizona bench as Rosario tried to get to the loose ball. He tried to save it as he touched it last.
Great anticipation, and how about getting the ball behind his legs and able to throw that basketball back in bounds. Great job by Nick Johnson, who's been averaging 4.5 steals over his last 2 games.
And Patrick Young just picked up his 4th foul. Parham at the free throw line.
Parham, an excellent free throw shooter, 91% on the year, 10 for 11 before that shot.
Trying to cut the lead to 4. 57 seconds left. Boy, Johnson has made some terrific defensive plays in this game. And that was a huge steal there.
You can expect to see full court pressure by the Wildcats. They don't need to foul. They're down 4. There's a 21.8-second differential between shot clock and game clock.
Full court pressure. Hill will guard the inbound.
If I'm Arizona, I would be aware that if Patrick Young gets a touch, it's almost like half a shot. He's only a 53% foul shooter.
And Johnson knocked it out of bounds. Boy, it was close right there. Murphy almost turned it over, and Billy Donovan didn't like that, so he calls timeout.
Well, now the big difference is after that deflection, where Eric Murphy could have utilized the baseline to run, now he'll be in a stationary spot.
Almost a 5-second call there on the inbound pass. So both teams with a timeout remaining. Last year at this time in Gainesville, we had overtime. And it looked like Florida was going to win, but Solomon Hill was fouled there. They gave him 3 free throws. He made them all. Irving Walker there missed at the end of regulation, sending it to overtime, and then the Gators pulled away. Young had 25 points, 10 rebounds as Florida won that game in overtime. If you're Florida, do you keep Young on the bench knowing that Arizona's going to foul him? He's going to stay in the game. You keep him away from the ball if you're Billy Donovan here.
You keep him away from the ball as best as possible, but if they get caught, he's a pressure release because he's an athletic big guy that can go up over the top of Parham or any one of the Arizona defenders that's guarding him.
Billy Donovan changes the inbounder. Instead of the big Murphy, he's got the smaller Rosario now to inbound.
But the longer Ashley guarding the basketball.
Almost a 5-second call. They turn it over anyway. Rosario throws it out of play. That's 2 turnovers late by Florida under its own basket.
Dave, and Patrick Young was wide open down the floor on a release, but because the 6'8" long arms of Brandon Ashley was on that basketball, Mike Rosario was not able to see him and make the home run pass.
Sports Center coming up next. 55.6 on the clock. We'll see if Arizona goes for a quick 2. They've been settling for 3-point shots the last several possessions.
Shoot the 3 off of penetrate and kick action or anything passing into the paint and kick out. Otherwise, try to attack the rim, get to the line, and make a layup.
Double team comes to Lyons. Here's Hill. He'll drive on you. Get to the bucket and put it in. 2-point game.
No need to foul.
Boynton turns it over. Parham, he lost it. Scooped up by Hill. He almost gave it away, but knocked out of bounds by Rosario. Boy, this is like the New Mexico Bowl with Arizona's football team, where they scored 14 points in the last minute.
Solomon Hill does the right thing. He attacks. The Florida Gators don't want to foul and give him an and 1. Arizona, again, needs to be in attack mode. Get Solomon Hill or Nick Johnson a touch.
They have a timeout, about a 6-second difference between game and shot clocks. Well defended by Wilbekin.
Go back to him in the post. Patrick Young will come and double.
Hill into the lane. Ashley. Or make that Jarrett got stripped, but a foul called, and he'll shoot 2. Wilbekin picked up his 4th foul.
Solomon Hill does a great job of getting to the middle. Patrick Young has to step up and help. Great drop off by the senior Solomon Hill to the freshman Grant Jarrett.
2 free throws for Jarrett, his first attempts of the game. He's 8 for 9 on the year. Only the 3rd miss for Arizona at the free throw line tonight. So make or miss, Arizona will foul.
They'll go for the steal first because the pressure has been working.
Sure.
Florida's turning the basketball over with 26.1 seconds left. They can trap a couple times, let the ball get over half court, and then give one.
Got the second one, 1-point game. Each team has a timeout. Jarrett leaves. Ashley comes back in to guard the inbound pass. Now they have the taller Murphy inbounding the ball. Florida by 1. Inbound to Boynton. And no foul call. Johnson went for it. And now Ashley picks it up with 21.5 on the clock. And Kenny Boynton, a 90% free throw shooter, but yet to attempt one tonight, will go to the line.
This is the guy you want there. He's your senior. He's played in 2 Elite Eights.
It's a 1-and-1. 17 foul in Arizona. You get back on the floor. Murphy to the bench. Only 5 points for Boynton. He's 2 of 10 from the field. His first foul shot of the game. Can't hit it. Rebound Johnson. Arizona can win it. 15 seconds left. Will they use their timeout? Here's Lyons. On the drive, contact, hit the shot! Arizona by 1, 7 seconds left. Florida has a timeout. Here's Rosario with 3. Lost the ball. Wilbekin gets it off. Arizona wins! What a comeback for the Wildcats! They did it in football today, and they do it on the hardwood to close out the night, 65-64. Are you surprised that Florida didn't use its timeout? They had one with about 7 seconds remaining.
Coach Donovan's been in a ton of big games. He trusts that he has a veteran team, that they could get a shot that they wanted. Arizona was in a scramble mode, but they did a great job of recovering.
Mark Lyons with the game-winning shot, calling for the screen. He got it. He drove on Young, drew contact. The 280-pound guy hit him hard, but Lyons still got the bucket.
Mark Lyons, the transfer from Xavier. Sean Miller told me yesterday, if it's late in the game, he wants the ball in Mark Lyons' hands because he's his guttiest, grittiest, and he's his warrior of a player. Great job by Mark Lyons. Biggest shot of his career.
Arizona knocks off Florida and will likely move into the top 5. Miles Simon, I'm Dave Pasch. Much more coming from Tucson, but right now, SportsCenter on ESPN.